All right, ladies and gentlemen, do I have a good one for you today? And not just that fresh expo markers. So we're no longer a mindset channel or ASMR. All I need is the black. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be covering 6 ways that your subconscious mind will keep you trapped in a familiar experience that you want to grow from. So if you can overcome these 6 programs, you'll be able to fully transform your mind and begin to rewire your brain and begin manifesting whatever you want and desire from this life. But before we get into those 6 different subconscious traps, I need to introduce you and remind you how your subconscious mind works. We might need a new eraser, ladies and gentlemen. So, the subconscious mind. 10% of your mind is conscious. This is willpower. This is choice. Right? This is you investing your mental bandwidth to figure out what's going on, how to transform. What do I need to do to change? Now, we need to move beyond this layer because deep below this layer lies the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is 90%. Now, what is this subconscious mind? And how is it programmed? It's emotions, behaviors, thoughts. Your subconscious mind is what makes sure you breathe without thinking about it. It's how you walk without thinking about it. So your subconscious is programmed through repetition. Now, repetition, when done the right way, can be used to reprogram your mind. But first, you need to understand that you cannot will yourself into change. You are actually going to have to participate in different levels of mindset, different levels of spirituality, and study the proper information so you can actually plant the proper information that you want to experience in your subconscious mind. Now that we've kind of covered the subconscious mind, how are you programming this subconscious mind daily? Right? So we talked about thoughts, emotions, behaviors. But why is it so hard to overcome? Now, we have our thoughts. We have our emotions. And what's going on between these thoughts and emotions is, let's say you think something negative, and you're going to feel the negative emotion associated with that, because these thoughts release electrical stimuli in your brain, which sends electrical impulses to different receptors in your body that start different hormonal and chemical sequences, which release the emotion, right? Then you experience more of that emotion, and you're going to have more of those negative thoughts. Now, the more consistently you engage with this cycle, the stronger your subconscious program is. SC is subconscious. So, how do we overcome this? Well, first, I need to introduce you to the 6 ways that your subconscious mind is going to trick you to prevent you from even getting to the core of this cycle. So, let's get into step 1. All right, now the first way that your body is going to keep you trapped in this subconscious state is going to be through emotional and chemical addiction. Now, what happens when you experience this cycle for so long is that your body thinks this is the new homeostasis. It has become such a familiar experience that your body now seeks out ways to recreate this experience in your life. So it will seek out different ways to recreate this in actions, right? Let's just say you're addicted to something like smoking weed or drinking or eating type of food. It is going to find ways to trigger an emotion because your body is in control, your mind is not in control. Your body is actually the master to your mind, which is why the subconscious mind can be so powerful, because your body is going to be keeping you in this addictive state, right? It can be addicted to different thoughts. It could be addicted to different emotions. Now, this is the main way that your body is going to keep you from experiencing something new. Think about it. If you set the intention to change, you're like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna get in better shape. I'm gonna stop eating like crap, and I'm gonna start running every morning, a mile a day. As soon as you stop eating the thing that you normally eat, you're gonna get cravings. Then you're gonna get negative thoughts. You're like, well, like I could always start on Monday. I know it's Saturday, it's the weekend, I can enjoy myself. Then you're gonna go eat that food, and then you're gonna feel like shit after. And then you're gonna create more thoughts and emotions that validate that certain experience. And then when Monday comes around and it's time to run, you're like, you know what? Like I'm not really feeling it. I'm kind of burnt out. So you need to be careful of this first trap that your subconscious mind will use emotional and chemical addictions to keep you stuck. Now let's move on to number 2. Now, the second way that your subconscious mind traps your progress and prevents you from changing is going to be one that all of you experience. I know I experienced it, and I know a lot of people who want to do something new with their life sure as hell experience. So, number 2, what is this going to be? This is going to be fear of the unknown, right? But why is this? So, all of these are going to build off of each other. So if we go back to number 1, your body creates a certain homeostasis, right? This is a natural state that it's programmed to keep. Now this homeostasis is known as familiar. And what keeps it familiar is the same thoughts and emotion cycle, right? That's what keeps releasing the certain chemicals that your body becomes addicted to, and it's what makes it familiar. Now what's going to be happening when you go to step into the unknown? Your body's going to find ways to put you in states of procrastination, worry, doubt. Think about it, you're like, that's not going to work. That wouldn't work for me. This information wouldn't work for me. That subconscious mind, that ego, is going to step in the way and find ways to trap you. And the reason it's finding ways to trap you is because it can tell you're starting to make change, and it's like, whoa, Grant, like this was the homeostasis you told me that you wanted me to master. You had these certain thoughts and emotions so many times. I was like, it's becoming the new normal. And now you're telling me I need to change? So it's going to find ways to put you in a state of procrastination, prevent you from doing that work on your business, prevent you from going to the gym. It's going to create certain thoughts and emotions that invoke fear of the unknown, right? That's what the present moment is. It's the unknown, because there's always something new to be created. So your body's keeping you in a familiar pattern, a familiar reality, right? Whether you're experiencing past worries or doubts of tomorrow, that's something that your body's probably familiar to. So this is how your subconscious mind releases these certain traps into your being to keep you stuck and prevent you from transforming. Now, let's move on to number 3. Now, number 3 is a big one, and it's definitely something a majority of people tell themselves, right? So the way the subconscious mind is going to trap you is by using your identity, right? You might have heard this before. It's going to be like, this is just who I am. I can't change. This is just the same old me. But what is your identity if we break it down? And why does it use it as a familiar experience to prevent you from changing? Now, there's a variety of ways to look at this, and I'm going to break it down even further, and I'm going to give you 3 ways that your subconscious is going to help you validate an identity that you no longer want to experience. But fundamentally, let's look at this identity of yours. Now, your identity is your personality. And this personality is your personal reality. Now, how is this personal reality compromised? So we go from thoughts to emotions to choices to actions to beliefs, right? This is the evolution of your being. This is the evolution of your personality. This is the evolution of your identity. But if we work all the way back the chain, it starts with choosing new thoughts and emotions. So your identity, you're making decisions based on who you are, based on the thoughts, emotions, and choices you engage with. If you want to stop smoking weed, but you keep smoking weed every night, then your identity, your subconscious mind, is laying traps. It's releasing familiar thoughts and emotions, and you're like, you know what, just one more joint before I stop. But as soon as we stop engaging with that, it is actually the act of saying no that begins the reprogramming process. Because think about it. If you're no longer on this thought and emotion cycle, and you are no longer going to choose familiar choices, actions, and beliefs. So if you hop off this cycle and you're saying, I'm not going to do that anymore, then this is what begins the reprogramming process. Because it gives you an opportunity to step in the present moment. And in this present moment, you can choose new thoughts, emotions, and choices that align with a new identity, right? And this identity will create a new personal reality. But you need to be aware of the subconscious being like, this is just who I am. I can't change it, set in stone. No, everything changes. That is the nature of the universe. Now, let's move on to trap 4. Now, number 4 is a big one, right? Because if you can become aware of the fact that this is a normal experience when you embark on the journey to transform, then you're going to be able to overcome this trap with such ease. Is resistance to discomfort. Now think about it. If your subconscious mind is smart, it knows how to run things on autopilot. How is it going to keep you stuck? Well, the saying goes, what you resist persists. So if you're consistently resisting the feeling of discomfort, that is going to come through change, right? What is change? What is transformation? Because you no longer do what you do, you're going to experience boredom. Because you no longer do what you do, you're going to experience anxiety. You're going to experience the unknown. And all of these things are going to lead to confusion. You're going to be like, this is a familiar experience. I have no idea where I'm going. Well, if we know this is all part of the process, if this is all going to be things that you are going to face on your path to transformation, then you do not need to worry about them. You just need to sit with them. You do not need to do anything with them. You just need to stay on your path. Because if transformation is what you are truly about, if it's what you are truly about, then you will be able to sit with this feeling of discomfort. And because you sit with it, you are no longer resisting it. And when you are no longer resisting it, it will no longer be of persistence in your life. So just know, the 4th subconscious trap is going to be resistance to discomfort. Now guess what? Growth in itself is chaos. Growth in itself is change. So you're going to be stepping out of the comfort zone regardless of what you do. It is uncomfortable to be stuck in our old ways, and it is uncomfortable to transform. So you just have to choose your type of uncomfort. Now, this parlays us into trap 5 that the subconscious used to keep you stuck in a reality that you do not want to experience. All right, now this is a big one. I mean, all 6 of these are major. And if you can truly just become aware of these 6, then you're going to be able to overcome the traps that your subconscious mind sets to prevent you from transformation. Now, number 5 is time anxiety. This is when it'll happen. Now, your subconscious mind is going to always pose the question, Grant, is this even going to work? When is it happening? It's been 7 minutes. You've uprooted everything we've set in stone and change still hasn't happened. When are you going to change? When are you going to finally transform? It's also going to ask the question, how long will it take? Because it is wired for survival, it needs to logically know that it is going to be safe when you get to that destination. Now, the solution to overcome this moment is not worry about tomorrow. It's to become anchored in the present. And when you are anchored in the present, you can master your state now. When you master your state now, you are actually changing. It answers the question, when it'll happen. It happened now. And the more consistently you do that, through repetition, you reprogram your subconscious mind to seek out the success you desire. Now, we're about to move on to the 6th trap, but just know I'm going to give you 3 different tried and true ways to plant solutions for any of the 6 traps that the subconscious mind set. So after this 6th point, make sure to stick around. We're going to get into the solutions and you're not going to want to miss those. Now, number 6 is a big one. And it is a biological process if we look at it further. But because you're uprooting your entire state, because your subconscious mind is like, Grant, what are you doing to me? It is going to look for confirmation bias. Now this confirmation bias is going to be proof as to why it's not working. Now, biologically, there's something in the brain, in your mind, called the RAS, the reticular activation system. Now, the core and key function of this system in your mind is to look for things familiar to what you're programmed for. So, if you are looking for reasons to fail, if you are looking for reasons to stay in the same place, to keep yourself in that familiar state of homeostasis, then the reticular activation system is going to be looking for proof as to why it's not working. But if we backpedal a little bit to step 5, if trap 5 is time anxiety, and if we can create change in the present moment, in the now, and we start to actively change our state, to look for gratitude, to look for abundance, to look for proof that we are on the path. If you set out to run a marathon, you don't need to look for proof that you ran 26 miles in one sitting. Sometimes all it starts is with lacing up those shoes and getting outside, doing that first half mile, doing that first mile. Now that is where you can truly begin to find proof and repivot and use confirmation bias against itself to be like, hey, it actually is working. And when you can do that, you can kind of close the trap on the 6th version of the subconscious mind traps that it sets to keep you stuck. Now, I told you after point 6, we would get into 3 solutions that are tried and true that you can use to overcome the subconscious traps that are laid by your mind. So let's jump right into it. Now, one of the biggest ones that I always talk about and is a core pillar in my teachings is going to be the art of surrender, right? That's what we're going to call it. The art of surrender. Because if you truly understand what surrender is, it is going with the flow. And when you go with the flow, you are choosing harmony in your life. You're saying, hey, even though this transformation journey is getting a little tough right now, even though I'm feeling those subconscious programs, even though I'm feeling the addiction to what my body is used to, I'm going to surrender. I'm going to let go. Because when you let go, you no longer resist. And when you no longer resist, that feeling of discomfort, that suffering, that confusion, that doubt, those anxieties and fears will subside. They will pass away because you are no longer fixating on them. You are no longer paralyzed in your thoughts and emotions, creating a familiar experience and a familiar karmic loop in which you feed more on the negative doubts than look towards abundance. Now, I want to move on to solution 2 because this is a major one that I use with all of my Ascension clients, and it's going to be something, a tool that I want to give you that you can throw into your daily morning routine. Now, the second thing we're going to touch on is the power of gratitude and small wins. So I'm going to break down kind of an exercise that you can use. So we got the power of gratitude and small wins. Now, for gratitude, you need to realize that when you find things to be grateful for, you are changing that confirmation bias. Because you are looking at things that you have, not things that you lack, then you are signaling that you are in a more full energetic state. Now, the universe doesn't know the difference between big and small things that you want to manifest in your life. So if you are of the highest frequency, then you are by default going to be attracting those things to you. Now, when you do a gratitude journal, you normally just write down things you're grateful for. But I want you to do it a little differently for me. So I want you to write down 4 things you're grateful for, 3 negative things that you took positives from, and 4 reasons you love yourself. So this is normal gratitude. We're going to call this the transmutation. So we're going to put a T, right? And then we're just going to throw a little heart right here for reasons you love yourself. The most important one is going to be the 3 transmutation ones. Because if you can start to train your mind to turn things that appear as failures, to turn things that appear as negative into positive ones, then you are going to experience even more effortless success. Because think about it, any challenge that gets thrown your way is now a positive. And because it's now a positive, your subconscious mind has been reprogrammed, that confirmation bias kicks in, that reticular activation system kicks in, the manifestation and attraction of your new frequency kicks in, and you're going to seek these things naturally. That is not what I wanted to draw. But it's going to start flowing into your life. Just know that. That's the power of gratitude. Now, here's how you actually need to set goals to experience the power of small wins. So, we all got big goals for ourselves, right? But this is one of the easiest ways that you can kind of atomize your goals to see wins. So, let's say one of my big goals is to meditate 20 minutes a day. Now, with 20 minutes, there's a lot of limbic friction. Limbic friction is something in the brain. It's that resistance you feel. When you feel resistance to getting on the Stairmaster, that is limbic friction created in your mind. Now, what we can do here is on our goal list, knock it down to 1 minute a day of meditation. You know how much easier it is to get your mind and subconscious to say yes to such a small commitment? Now, the beautiful thing about this is when you sit down, everything after that 1 minute becomes a bonus. So the energetic surge you get from doing this skyrockets your state. Even if you say you'll do 10 minutes and you do 14 minutes, that's a huge win. So just know this is the power of setting small goals that lead to small wins so you can begin to build that undeniable stack of proof and confirm that your transformation is worth all the change. Now, ladies and gentlemen, those are the 6 ways that your subconscious mind keeps you trapped. And now we're about to move on to the final solution I want to give you. And this is the most important one of all. Now, if I were to leave you with one key piece of information, it would be this. 3 is the power of now. Now, the thing about this is, if your subconscious mind is programmed for a certain experience, and you've got this energetic frequency about yourself, but you're always going to the past to find reasons to invalidate your transformation, or you're going to the future to find reasons to doubt and be worried, then all of your energy is fragmented in places that do not exist. Think about it. The past and the future only exist in your mind. And because you're allowing your subconscious traps to take control, then you are never truly creating. Because only true creation happens in the present moment. Now, if we can use these solutions to overcome the 6 traps that I showed you your subconscious mind is going to lay, then you can take your energy back from your worries about tomorrow, your judgments upon yesterday, and from here, you can truly begin to change your state. You can begin to choose new thoughts and emotions in the present moment that begin to program your subconscious mind to seek out success, abundance, happiness, peace of mind. And you can only do this through the power of now. Because as Eckhart Tolle educates us, the present moment is all we have. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with this moment, I want to take a chance to say thank you so much for the love. I appreciate you guys supporting me on my journey. I hope you got something out of this. These are the 6 traps that your subconscious mind is going to use against you to prevent you from transformation. And I hope you found some truth in the solutions I aim to bestow upon you as you embark on this journey. Now, once again, if you like the content, drop a like, drop a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.